Hi, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday with African Xhosa ASMR. So, you already saw the title, and let's get right into it. In South Africa, from the moment you are born, you are assigned a 13-digit national ID number. This is a system which was formulated during the apartheid era. This number was used to determine one's race. And then this would be used to dictate how an individual would be treated by the system based on the color of their skin. In 1994, South Africa received its very first black democratic president, Utatomkhulu uNelson Rolihlahla Dalibunga Mandela, and apartheid was no more. Then this number was no longer used to dictate how an individual would be treated based on the color of their skin, but instead it was used for determining one's date of birth, citizenship status, and their gender, which would be either male or female. The first 2 digits of the ID number indicate or represent the year in which the person was born. The third and fourth number represent the month in which the person was born, and the day in which they were born is represented by the 5th and the 6th numbers of the ID. The 7th number represents their gender. If the number lies between 0 and 4, this means that the person is female. If the number is between 5 and 9, that means the person is male. However, according to Quartz Africa, there are more than 530,000 South Africans who identify as non-binary. Non-binary gender is a term used to describe individuals who may experience a gender identity that is neither exclusively women or men, or is in between or beyond both genders. So, non-binary people do not specifically identify as either male or female, and they felt as though they were improperly identified in their identity documents because they do not relate to either being male or female. For that reason, the Department of Home Affairs planned a meeting with the LGBTQ plus community in order to help solve this problem. In December of 2020, the government of South Africa published a document on how the country could amend the system in order to ensure that no one remains either undocumented or improperly documented. So the Department of Home Affairs and the government wanted to accommodate the LGBTQ plus community by recognizing them in their identity documents. So they wanted to introduce a system which would recognize them in the ID number with the 7th number. Since the numbers between 0 and 9 are already taken, whereby 0 to 4 represent female and 5 to 9 represent male, and there should be 13 numbers. They reached a conclusion of instead, I see a mosquito and it's bugging me like crazy. I see a mosquito just roaming around the camera and it's bugging me like crazy. Okay. Since the numbers between 0 and 4 represent female and the numbers between 5 and 9 represent male, they then decided to use instead the letter X for the 7th number. I have a doom with me for this mosquito. I don't know why it keeps just roaming around. But okay. Where was I? Let me think. Oh God, I see it again. I think I got it. It just keeps coming to me. I don't know. Maybe it likes my blood. It's not dying. Let's get back to the video. Since the numbers between 0 and 4 are for females, and the numbers you have got to be kidding me. I see bugs everywhere. Is there a window open? What is happening? What is happening? All the windows are closed. I hope there isn't a bzzz sound because I don't know what's happening with the mosquitoes. I'm sure there's a door that's open somewhere, and then they are following the light which is in this room. So they're coming here because it's at night, and then the lights are switched off in the other rooms. Okay. Let's hope all is well. Let's hope all is well. So, since the numbers between 0 and 4 are already taken for female, and the numbers between 5 and 9 are already taken for male, in order to accommodate the members of the LGBTQ community, including non-binary, transgender, and intersex persons, they then introduce a system whereby the 7th number would be represented by the letter X. The letter X. So if on the 7th number there is a letter X, that would mean that the person is either transgender, intersex, or non-binary. I am not quite sure that the system has already been implemented or not, but it is something the government, the Department of Home Affairs, in conjunction with the LGBTQ plus community, has been working on here in South Africa. Now I want to move to the second factor, which is gender pronouns. There was a movement in the United States that sparked a lot of debate, whereby members of the LGBTQ plus community who are non-binary, like the likes of Demi Lovato, for example, who wanted to be referred to as they or them in terms of their pronouns, they did not want to be referred to as she or he. So there was a huge debate because other people were arguing that it will be confusing to refer to people as they or them instead of saying he or she. But the argument was that but the members of the LGBTQ community who are non-binary said it wouldn't be a problem, since if you already don't know a person, you would refer to them as they or them. So now it shouldn't be a problem to refer to people as they or them because they don't identify as he or she. So there was that debate. So now, how is the issue of gender pronouns in South Africa? How is it taken? Well, honestly speaking, with regards to he and she pronouns, from what I've seen in South Africa, many languages, more especially the common spoken languages, which are Zulu and isiXhosa, we do not have gender pronouns when referring to people. Okay, and I know you're like, what? Well, let me make an example so that you can understand exactly what I mean. Let's say I post a video on YouTube, right? You would say she posted a video on YouTube, and automatically you would know that I am a girl. But if a guy posts a video on YouTube, you would then say he posted a video on YouTube, and automatically a person would know that it's a guy who uploaded a video on YouTube and not a girl. But if it's multiple people, you would say they uploaded a video on YouTube. So in South African languages, like my home language, for example, in isiXhosa, we don't say she uploaded a video on YouTube or he uploaded a video on YouTube. We only have two pronouns. We have they or them. We don't have she and he in the whole entire language. The only difference is that we have they and them in singular and plural form. Let me make an example. If I upload a video on YouTube, a person would say ufake ivideo ku YouTube. And if a guy uploads a video on YouTube, they would say ufake ivideo ku YouTube. With ufake ivideo ku YouTube, you wouldn't know whether the person who uploaded this video is a guy or it's a girl, because you're using ufake ivideo ku YouTube, which translates to they uploaded a video on YouTube. But this is a singular. If it's plural, whereby multiple people uploaded this video, you would say bafake ivideo ku YouTube. Bafake ivideo ku YouTube. So we have u for one person and ba for multiple people, for they. And them is for bona, for multiple people, and yena for one person. So we have those types of pronouns, and with those pronouns you cannot know whether the person is a girl or the person is a boy, because in our language there is no rule where we use she and he. But one way in which you can be able to just assume the gender is when you mention the name of that person. For example, if you say Maria uploaded a video on YouTube, in your mind you're like, okay, since it's Maria, maybe it's a girl, right? And then if I say John uploaded a video on YouTube, but because his name is John, you would assume that John is a guy. So that's one way in our language in terms of finding out or us estimating the gender based on the person's name. But what if someone decides to have a daughter and name them John? What if someone decides to have a son and name their son Maria, So it's not always accurate, but you can just assume based on the name of the person, because there are certain rules you can follow when naming your child in the Xhosa culture, but not everyone follows those rules. Let me make an example. If you say Grace, the name of a person who is Grace, right? Like, hello, Grace. You can assume that Grace is a girl. But in Xhosa, Grace, which is Nceba, translates to Nceba, Grace. And Nceba is a name that's normally given to a guy. So if I say Nceba uploaded a video on YouTube, that's how you could assume that it's a guy. And if you want to name your daughter Grace, there's a rule that you have to follow. You have to put N-O before the word, or Kazi, which is K-A-Z-I, at the end of the name. So if it's Nceba, you would know it's a guy. And if I say no Nceba uploaded a video, you would know it's a girl. Or if I say Nceba Kazi uploaded a video on YouTube, you would assume or know that it's a girl. But even with this rule, you may never really know, because my name, for example, I am Siviwe, right? If someone says Siviwe or uploaded a video on YouTube, one person might assume, okay, it's a guy who uploaded a video on YouTube, because my name is a name that's normally given to guys. And if someone says no Siviwe uploaded a video on YouTube, they'll say, okay, it's a girl, it's not a guy. But my parents did not follow this rule when they were naming me. They didn't say I am Nosiviwe. They said I am Siviwe, which is a name normally given to guys. So even with that, you can never really know. So it's actually very complex. But in our speech, we do not have he and she. We only have they and them, singular or plural. And that's it in terms of gender pronouns. Now let's move on to how members of the LGBTQ plus community are treated in society by the members of the community. Let me just first refresh my card, because I already hit the time limit. Let me just, every 30 minutes I have to restart. I seriously need a new phone because I can't keep doing this. Cameras are so complicated. So now the big question at hand, like I said, is how are actually members of the LGBTQ plus community treated in South Africa, generally speaking, right? There isn't a specific answer I may give to this question because everything varies with the community and the people who you are dealing with in that community. But in most cases, but this is not always the case, but in most cases you might find out that members of the LGBTQ plus community are ostracized in poverty-stricken areas or communities as compared to affluent communities. But even though that's the case, that is not what happens at all times. You might find that this affluent community is still ostracizing, the members of the LGBTQ community, but in this poverty-stricken area, they are more accepting. So it's not always the case, but in most cases, you are more likely to be ostracized or shunned if you are in a poverty-stricken area as compared to an affluent community. And another case in terms of people, individually, you might find out that the younger people are more welcoming and accepting, but the older generations would shun and ostracize the members of the LGBTQ plus community. But once again, this is not always the case, but in most cases you might find out that is what happens. But even though that might happen, you might find out that this older person is more accepting as compared to this younger person. In South Africa, South Africa was one of the first countries to introduce the law or the acceptance of gay marriage, and there is this huge celebrity called Mzantsi Mhlongo. He now identifies as bisexual, if I'm not mistaken, but if anyone in South Africa is being asked to name a gay celebrity, they know the first name that would come is Mzantsi Mhlongo or Lasizwe Dambuza. So Mzantsi, his wedding, he got married, and his gay marriage was broadcasted on national television. And most people, it was their first time actually seeing gay marriage on TV, more especially in Africa, because most communities are more against than for the LGBTQ plus community members. So a lot of people would remain in the closet because they are scared of being shunned. And as a matter of fact, in many African countries, it is still illegal to be gay. You can't be openly gay. So if you're gay, you have to remain in the closet because that could get you into trouble. And sometimes even the members of the community would not accept you to such an extent that they would actually take your life because you came out. And with the issue with Mzantsi Mhlongo, the celebrity that I was telling you about here in South Africa, is a big brand, right? So he got he's a big brand in Africa, and he got invited to Zimbabwe for something, and there was this thing that went viral on social media whereby people are saying, well, he might be invited to Zimbabwe, but chances are he's not going to get them because in Zimbabwe you can't be gay. So I don't know how true that is or whether he ended up going, but it was huge on South African social media, whereby people saying, how is he going to go to Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe is a neighboring country to South Africa. And they were like, how is he going to go there? Because you can't be gay in Zimbabwe. So I don't know how true that is, but some African countries are not accepting members of the LGBTQ community. So if you're out, you are at a higher risk of people beating you up or discriminating against you because of your sexual orientation. And I decided to talk about this topic because of the video I made, whereby I was teaching you guys about umphumo, whereby it's a celebration whereby boys transition into men. There was someone who commented and said that they are curious, like what would happen to someone who is non-binary with regards to the ceremony whereby boys are transitioning into men. And my response was, actually, this custom is not forced on you. It's the guys who are like, you know what, I want to go to the mountain, and they go to the mountain. The ones who don't want to go to the mountain, they don't go to the mountain. There are older married men with kids who have never gone to the mountain. So it's not forced on you. If you don't want to go, you don't go. If you want to go, you do go. Because there are even gay people who are like, you know what, I know going to the mountain is where you're transitioning from a boy to a man, and I'm more feminine, but you know what, I'm still gonna go to the bush. I want to go to the bush. And because they want to do it, they go to the bush. And those who are like, you know what, I don't want to go to the bush, they don't go to the bush. So it just depends on whether you want it or you don't want it. So yeah, that's why I was like talking about this, and I was curious if you guys want me to talk more about such topics, because I was thinking of doing Wisdom Wednesday videos whereby I talk about like current affairs in Africa that you guys are curious about, and the lifestyle, if you guys are curious about that as well. Because sometimes you do ask me questions in the comment section and I'm like, and you like make a video about it, and I'm like, I'm not sure if this would fit an ASMR style kind of video. So maybe if I could make a like Wednesday wisdom videos whereby I talk about these topics you guys are curious about, but I turn them into kind of like video essay, kind of like podcast style. So if you guys are interested, do let me know so that I can upload on Wednesdays like the Wisdom Wednesday videos, and then on Sunday I can upload the normal ASMR triggers, trying to get you to sleep kind of videos, you know. Honestly speaking, my favorite like YouTube channels, they're like the commentary channels whereby, you know, people are just talking about like current affairs and all that. I love listening to Khadija Mbowe as well as Tini Orr. I love listening to their takes on certain topics and what they get to talk about. And yeah. And my favorite is actually Shakespeare. I love her. I love her voice. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Do let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see more Wisdom Wednesday videos, or you know what, you don't want that, you just want me to stick to only just ASMR triggers and not talk about topics like this? So I just am curious to learn more about what you guys want, because people do ask me like serious questions and I would love to answer them. And also, if you would like me to make Wisdom Wednesday videos and there's a specific topic that you want me to cover, like I really want to hear about this from an African standpoint of view, or from an African's perspective, you can let me know so I can cover that. But I will pick and choose what to talk about, because we live in such a sensitive world and people easily take offense to everything, and it's never my intention to offend anyone. So if you were offended by today's video, I am so sorry. That was not my intention. My intention is to educate and also end stereotypes about African related like matters, but this would be based on what I personally know, and don't take my word for it. Okay, make sure that you also do your own research and you get your facts straight. Okay, so that is going to be it for today's video. Siqibile ke Wisdom Wednesday yethu yanamhlanje. Yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye.